Hi, this is Shaine Mata from Social Media Club of the RGV. I am going to go over a quick recap of what happened at the last meeting on October 21st, 2009. The topic of the meeting was about how the discussion centered around how there's an overlap between bloggers and traditional media. And part of that is because there are bloggers who are hobbyists. There are bloggers who kind of skirt around the role of a journalist, and then of course there are full-time, all the way journalists who do this for a living. So there's a broad spectrum in between, ranging from the hobbyist up to the professional journalist. And the idea is, how do we distinguish, or how do we demarcate, or how do we make a demarcation of where a hobbyist begins and when a serious journalist begins? So with that in mind, I mean, the idea is because there's often during legislative sessions and during discussions about ethics and all these things, the question always comes up, who do we allow to have press credentials? And of course, this happens at the White House. It also happens at the state houses and in other locations where press is invited to attend an event. And so you got to kind of figure out, well, who qualifies for what. So that's where we're kind of bringing this discussion into mind. So some of the questions I posed were: is a blogger considered press? And that had some mixed reactions. Second questions are: trained journalists who blog exclusively considered press? Number 3, what key things define a journalist? Number 4, does giving access to amateurs give them legitimacy? And number 5, does gathering leads from social media give social media a role in journalism? So those were some of the questions that kind of spark off the conversation. Now, there are some bloggers here in South Texas, in the Rio Grande Valley, who publish entirely online, and they are journalists. They don't have a print product. They don't have television. They don't have a video, a TV station, or radio. So, but most of their media is, they do have an audience. They do have people who subscribe to their publications, even though it's all electronic. So one of them is myharlingennews.com out in Harlingen. Fellow blogger Melissa Zamora out of Brownsville. She does blogging all things Brownsville. There's also like the Cafe Brownsville, I think, and some other places out there in Brownsville. There's David Diaz, who does the Edinburgh Politics here in Edinburgh. So of course, the Rio Grande Guardian is a big one. It's by Steve Taylor. His publication is entirely online. There's no print product. Well, they do video, but it's not a TV station, not a radio station. So as far as journalism goes, I mean, they've gone that direction where it's all electronic. So they're considered press. And so where's that dividing line between what press is and what a hobbyist is, a blogger? We thought about bias being a way of determining this, but bias really doesn't work out too well, because it's hard to determine who's going to be biased and who isn't going to be biased based on your own point of view. And in addition, there are columnists are actually considered journalists, and they still have an opinion. They have opinions on things, and that's what makes them columnists, right? Of course, audience size is another big one, but the thing is, how do you decide, and where do you cut off? Is 100 visitors a day sufficient? Is it 20 visitors a day, 1,000? So that's one of the problems with using audience size, is that you kind of have to guess where that cutoff is. You just have to make a subjective decision, and even then, many publications have their audience size go up and down throughout the month. Probably the most equitable solution we had was maybe to have come up with some sort of a lottery for allowing people access to events as press. First, allow the major networks and major publications and other mainstream media access, and then for whatever space is remaining, have a lottery and draw out names for bloggers who want to attend the event as press. So that might be the most equitable. Also, we thought about training really isn't much of a decision either, or criteria, because a lot of journalists out there have learned on the job. They start off as cameramen, or done interviews on the street, and they may not have any journalism studies in college, but they learned on the job. So, and they're filling out the role. So maybe not training, because a lot of it is on the job training. There's also, let's see, it's just a side note. Some of the benefits of being press, if you're going to these events, is that you get access to events. You know, you get invitations to these events. People let you know that something's going on. You get access a lot of times without having to pay entrance fees. Like a lot of events, they charge everybody $50 and $100. Like especially for fundraisers, political events, there's a fee. But if you're press, you don't have to pay. You're just in there to cover the event, and that gets you in. So that might be some of the reason why some people find it, you know, that they want to be considered press. Excuse me. We thought maybe another good reason, or actually, I mean, going back to what I was talking about just a second ago, another reason why you would want, besides access, is that you want legitimacy. You want to have respect of the community as a journalist or as press. And so that's why maybe many bloggers may want to be considered press, so that they can go and have that same respect that a lot of journalists do. All right, another criteria that we thought about was original content, and that is probably a very good one to use, because original content basically, there's a lot of bloggers who simply link out to other blogs. Then basically they're just looking for news and then commenting on the news, but they're not really creating any new or original content. Whereas somebody who goes out and investigates and finds out news and then reports it would be considered a journalist. And even an opinion piece would, for example, be considered journalism. So that might be, I mean, original content seems to be like one major way of deciding who is press and who is a hobbyist. And also timeliness. If somebody hasn't posted it to their blog in over, you know, a month or maybe a couple of weeks, if they don't post very often, they can't really be considered a journalist, because they're not taking it seriously. They're not really producing much content to begin with, so they may not enjoy the same audience size or you know, respect or authority as other people who do this for a living day in and day out. So those are some of the key things that we thought about as far as determining who is considered press and who is considered a hobbyist blogger. We thought and we start off with, as far as limited access to events, I think a lottery would probably be the most fair. Original content, it was up there as one of the highest items that we thought would be good for determining if you're a blogger or press, or if you're a hobbyist or press, and also timeliness. So original content and timeliness or you know, how frequently you update your blog are two main ones. And of course, once you're at the event and there's limited space, start off with the major networks, major news media, and then go to the bloggers and have a lottery to determine who else can fit in there, you know, to the limited space. So those are some of the key ideas that we had at the last meeting. Coming up next month in November, Social Media Club meeting is going to be moved to a Tuesday, 6:30 p.m. and we're meeting on the second Tuesday of the month instead of the third Wednesday. So we are still trying to figure out a venue and the topic of that conversation. Although I'm going to make some phone calls and see if we can get somebody to join us at for the Social Media Club meeting. So anyways, thanks for listening. This is Shaine Mata for Social Media Club of the Rio Grande Valley. We'll talk to you again soon, next month, or actually we'll soon with the announcement of the next meeting for Social Media Club. Goodbye.